Welcome to episode 20 of our Hockey After Hour, the show that has gone longer than Spain's World Cup chances. With us tonight is Ben, who goes on Reddit as now Condor Avenue, and his Twitter is still up in the air. Also with us is
George Clooney up in the air or what? Because that'd be pretty cool.
Yes.
Because like George Clooney.
George Clooney is cool. Also with us tonight is Brittany, who goes by on both Reddit and Twitter as Pit Pens Pats.
Yep.
Every time I say that, I have to slow down.
I understand. You can just call me P3.
Okay. P3.
P3 or P cubed.
P cubed. Also with us is Ron, who goes up by both Reddit and Twitter and all other areas of the internet as Ron in a Box. And I'm Andrew.
Not Pornhub.com. Not Pornhub.com.
Oh, okay. And I'm Andrew, and I go by on Reddit as APAD, and on the Twitter as @AndrewPaddock. So, yeah, we're...
If you guys haven't noticed, we have special guests in the second screen of mine, which probably isn't showing up when I pop up. Unfortunately, my mic on my laptop isn't working, so you won't be able to see Bear and Spice too much, but they're here, and they're cute. Live streaming bunnies. Bear's hiding behind the box. What a little lazy butt. But yeah. So I haven't been on in a while. I don't think I've been on since Shero and Bilesma were fired. Oh wait, no, I don't think I've been on since Rutherford was hired.
Yes. So what are your thoughts on Jim Rutherford? Yes.
At first I hated it because I was like, oh god, we're going to lose Jason Botterill. We're going to lose him. This is going to be so bad for the organization. Why'd they do this? And then they came out and they said that Jason Botterill was going to be the associate GM, and then they hired Bill Guerin and Tom Fitzgerald to be assistant GMs, and I'm just like, I love this move. I love it. I love Jason Botterill, and I love that they're keeping him, and I love Billy G.
Billy G's the man.
He is. He's so cool. And then they said, Rutherford basically said he's only going to be here for 2 or 3 years, so he's basically grooming Botterill to be the next GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then he's grooming Guerin and Fitzgerald to be his assistant GMs. And then he was also talking about advanced stats, which everyone just, jizzed everywhere because advanced stats are the sexy topic.
It's like the Carl Sagan of hockey. Carl Sagan is the Reddit as advanced stats are to hockey.
Fenwick and Corsi and zone starts and PDO and all that shit.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So now, right after he was hired, he basically, I'm kind of mad about how they treated Dan Bilesma, because they basically left him twisting in the wind while, they wanted to hire him because he basically, Jim Rutherford said that he made the decision mostly off of ownership. So that was the ownership's decision to fire Bilesma. So they basically left him twisting in the wind for 3 weeks while they hired a GM when he could have been looking for a job. And it was just like, well, that's a shitty way to treat somebody. So, I don't know. I didn't like it. And I don't know who I want for a coach.
Speaking of coach, this is a tweet from Darren Dreger. Supposedly, Willie Desjardins is on his way to Pittsburgh, and he is the front runner for the coaching job.
Yeah, I heard they're making the decision tomorrow. So, I guess they may announce it tomorrow. I don't know anything about Willie Desjardins.
Dude's not even at the Calder Cup celebration, so make it about what you will.
Wait, was he the Texas Stars?
Yep.
Okay.
And he's from Climax, Saskatchewan.
There
Giggity.
have to be so many jokes about that.
Right, dude, we have Virginville and Intercourse in Pennsylvania.
We have dildo.
I'm almost back, honey. I just entered Climax, or I just got into Climax.
I mean, there's that one town in Austria.
Oh yeah.
What's it called?
There's a lot of funny names. There was like this like book I had. I forgot what it was called, but on the front of the book there was like Shakespeare scribbling out stuff. It's something English. But anyway, it's just like poor uses of the English language and like, or just like funny, I don't know, funny things like that. And a lot of them were like town names, like.
Give Willie Desjardins one thing. He has a nice mustache. It's very thick and full.
So how about we go through some of the questions we've already been asked on Twitter?
Oh yeah, these are some good ones. Let's start with going into the old tweet bag. This is from at Peak of Good Living. Should the Panthers draft Ekblad or trade down?
Trade down.
Trade down.
This is such a deep draft that the difference between
Down for
1
what?
and 5 is not that big, or at least not nearly as big as it is in most drafts. And
Yeah, especially like not next year. Like next year, if they can get like a good first round pick for next year back, then they should definitely do it because then they can get 2 shots at Connor McDavid.
Yeah, or just, 2 later first-round picks or something like that, just because I think that, especially when the number 1 prospect is a defenseman, so much of how much a defenseman shapes out is how much you groom him in those first years. Like, defensemen, it's much... With centers and wingers, it's a lot more you know what you're going to get because they peak earlier. Defenseman, it's like, here's a project you have to work on. Now, he has a lot of talent, and he could end up being really good, but he's still a project.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just say, oh, this guy's the next Nick Lidstrom.
I've heard people say that about Oli Mata, and I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes. The kid's 19.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love me Oli Mata because, he's awesome.
Yeah, but calling him up there with the second best defenseman of all time is kind of premature. Now, Connor McDavid, we've been hearing about since he was like 13 years old. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like that's completely different. Like, look at what happened with McKinnon this past draft and what happened with Jones. Like, not saying that Jones was a worse player than McKinnon, but centers, you know what you're getting, peak earlier, and especially the other thing is that
one guy
with players that peak earlier, i.e. forwards, is that you get their peak years as restricted free agent years a lot of the time. While with defensemen, you have to the restricted free agent years are working with them to improve, and by the time they're at their peak, they're unrestricted free agents. So I don't know. That's another argument for avoiding defense. I know I've gone on this talk before, but I just think that it's not mentioned enough. So
Yeah, it's so frustrating how Ray Shero just wanted to. He's just like drafting not forwards. He's always drafting defensemen. Like it's like he couldn't not draft a defenseman. Like I was at the draft in 2012, when I was in Pittsburgh when we traded Jordan Stahl. We traded up for the 8th overall pick. And he drafted Derek Pouliot, and we're just like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this kid? Alex Galchenyuk was still on the board. Or Mikhail Grigorenko, whichever one. It was Grigorenko. Was still on the board. It was just like all of the good forwards were on the board, and you pick this defenseman that wasn't even scheduled, like projected to go in the top 20. Like, what the fuck are you thinking, Shero? But then he got only 22nd overall, and like Brian just like screamed, he took another fucking defenseman, but it was like, you know, this one was spot on. Like Oli Mata has been so good, but like we have so many defensemen in our system. Like our defensemen for Wilkes-Barre is all like 20 and 21. They're all really, really young.
yeah.
And we're getting more next year. So,
And again, they're still maturing. They still have a way to go, and you'll get maybe 1 or 2 of their peak years as restricted free agents, and then they're not anymore.
Yeah, and like it was just there was a stat that I saw that like the only people playing on the Pittsburgh Penguins, Spice flopped and she's falling asleep. The only people who are playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins that are forwards that were drafted by Ray Shero are like Bo Bennett and no one else. Like everyone else was either traded or drafted by Craig Patrick, and I think that it or picked up in like free agency, and I think that's ridiculous. And Bo Bennett didn't even play that much because his wrist is made of glass. And it's just like, ugh. Like Ray Shero couldn't draft a forward to save his life. So I'm hoping Jim Rutherford can draft forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think he drafted Skinner. So I don't know. Some of the things about like the GMing situation in Pittsburgh previously, like just really, really frustrated me.
Yeah, and those things I was talking about earlier with you know, the importance of having those restricted free agents is just is a big part of it is because the NHL works on a hard cap, and it's not about getting the best players. It's about getting the best players for less than what they're worth. So, anyway, let's probably move on to the next question.
Okay, let's see. Next one is also from At Peak of Good Living. Favorite fan base that is not your own? Huh.
I like how he implies I like the league's fan base. Shots fired?
Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus after this playoffs was so much fun.
Yeah, they were just so like happy-go-lucky and so excited about everything. So like, I don't know, it was really fun.
I might go with Minnesota, just because.
Minnesota's another good one.
What was that?
Minnesota's another good one.
Yeah.
Basically, the young.
I just kind of feel bad for them with the whole North Stars situation still, and it's like the Vikings haven't been, you know, are rarely good. The Twins are never good.
Except for the mid-2000s.
Yeah, but they couldn't win anything.
Yeah, because they always ran into the brick wall. That was the New York Yankees in the playoffs.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if they deserve anything, they deserve a good hockey team.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're my favorite fan base. It's just the one I feel the most sorry for. Actually, I don't know if I should say I feel the most sorry for, but I think is the most deserving to have a good team because they know hockey. It's like Southern Canada, and it's probably the best hockey state in the United States.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And they were without a team for a while. So
The fan base I feel sorry for the most is Phoenix, because everyone assumes that they don't exist. And I just feel bad for the fans because everyone's just saying like, "Oh, move them to Seattle," and it's just these fans are just like, "They're my team."
the thing is that I used to think it was a good idea for Phoenix to move to Seattle, but now that I think about it, I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't think Seattle's that good of a sports market, actually. Um, if they were, I think that there would be a basketball team there now. The
Yeah.
Vancouver
Yeah.
Grizzlies moved out. I know the situation with the Sonics is a little
That was
bit,
all screwy.
yeah, but still, they would have gotten a team back by now if they were a true sports market.
And you have the
The Seattle
Mariners.
Mariners don't have. They can ship in. Vancouver's pretty much in the metro area that they can ship fans in, and they're still not, a top team in the league. I mean,
Heck,
they
they
are,
almost moved in '95.
and they're still a cap-conscious team. So I don't. And you can say, oh well, Vancouver fans are going to go to Seattle for like cheap games, like maybe, but how much is that really going to do? Like, uh, like you could have said the same thing about uh, fans going to like Panther games and shit. Like people from like the retired New Yorkers and all the people in Florida that are transplants. But
Mhm.
I mean, it hasn't really helped their attendance much. They're still a low attendance team,
Yeah.
and those Vancouver fans are only going to be there really for Vancouver games. I feel like I don't think Seattle's ready for an NHL team.
I don't know. I think they could be, because Seattle's full of hipsters, and hockey is a hipster sport.
Yeah, but the thing that hipsters would rather not watch sports because sports are too mainstream than follow the least mainstream sport.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
If we're seriously talking about especially blunt smoke up our butts right now.
Well, I'm a hipster that's talking about sports. Well, I guess that doesn't make me a good enough hipster, but
Well, let's wait a year for the hipster conversation because the Islanders are moving to Brooklyn.
I'm like the only guy that goes to Pitchfork dressed in Blackhawks shirt, Cubs hat. Everyone else is in their like hipster wear.
Flannels.
Yeah.
Flannels and like huge Ray-Ban style glasses.
I have actually a lot of flannel shirts because my ex was a hipster and wanted me to dress like a hipster pretty much. Never said that explicitly, but it was like
It was implied.
it was like this is hipsters how. But anyway, so I actually have a lot of flannel.
Can't really go wrong with plaid, man.
I do like plaid.
Yeah. I have a few plaid shirts, not flannel shirts.
I have a bunch. Basically, if it's not blistering hot out, you will see me probably wearing one if I go outside.
You're
I don't know why.
wearing plaid in your picture. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Don't
Wait,
tell
I am?
anyone.
Oh no, he is. Yeah, you're right.
I think technically it is implied, but then if we get into specifics, then it's kind of like,
Gingham.
Checkered.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
What, checkered?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of all samey.
Isn't
So
that Gingham or is Gingham something else?
I have a feeling gingham might actually be smaller squares, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Quick, just thing that I quickly looked up is that the Kansas City Royals spend as much as the Seattle Mariners.
And the Royals are in first place.
Yeah, but the Royals are also a super small market team.
That's true. Yeah.
That was more my point.
You know, I have a question
because
about
the
the
Athletics
Seattle
don't-
Mariners.
Yeah, and they're better than the Royals.
True.
You know, question about the Seattle Mariners. Would they be good at like cooking? Because they're mariners and they marinate stuff.
No, it's like mariners. It's like fishing or something.
I mean, they marinate in losses all the time, so
I didn't figure that out until I was like 14. What I was like, the hell is a Seattle Mariner, and why is there like a compass as their logo? It took me so long to connect, like, oh, marine. But I was like, what the hell's a mariner anyway?
Speaking
Very
of the
specific,
Kansas City
yeah.
Royals, the only fun like sports trivia question I know is in 1979 the Seattle Mariners drafted the Kansas City Royals drafted 2 Hall of Famers. Who are they?
Dan
Should I say that
Marino
again?
and
Wait, hold on, say that again?
The Kansas City Royals drafted 2 Hall of Famers in 1979. Who are they?
79.
Yeah.
Why'd you say Dan Marino?
Because it's Dan Marino and John Elway.
yeah.
The Royals drafted them?
Yep.
Yeah. In
No
1979,
shit.
they drafted 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
That's funny as hell.
I know, right? It's like the best trivia question. And that's all I know about the Kansas City Royals.
So according to, I don't even know how it's pronounced, the Wiktionary, but wiki version.
Dictionary.
Wiktionary. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know why.
Wiktionary.
I'm really slow today, guys. I'm sorry. And it's defined as a sailor.
Then why
They
is
could
their
have just called
mascot a
themselves the
moose?
Seattle Sailors. That's alliteration too. It's like, or the Seattle Seamen.
Guys, I'm really jealous of Jess. She got to meet Elrizzi and Gamboa like this week.
Well, you should be jealous of Matt and Stephanie because they got to meet me.
Oh, I'm totally jealous.
Yeah,
Wow.
they got to meet a celebrity.
Yeah. Well, no one's gotten to meet me yet. Which is sadness because you guys can't meet these glorious rabbits right here. Like, see, look, there's a bunny right there.
Hi, Bonnie.
Is
Hello.
she fat? Or just really furry?
What?
Is she
Why
fat
not
or
both?
really furry?
She's really furry. And she has a thing under her chin. It's called a dewlap. It's a thing that female bunnies have. It's like an
Okay. I was wondering what that was. I was like, this must be a huge double chin or something.
No, it's an extra fold of chin or an extra fold of skin so that they have fur to pull out when they're nesting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a female bunny thing. That's why Bear doesn't have one.
Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you, Spice. I still love you.
Yeah, of course you do. She's a bunny. She's so cute.
I know.
I'm surprised that Torque hasn't tweeted at us about this yet. If she's even listening, which she's probably not.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, she disappeared off the map, but that's okay. She's missing out.
She totally
Wait,
is.
Wait,
because
who?
of bunnies.
Twerk.
She's
But
around someone.
let's go on to the next question.
Okay. I'm gonna skip to this one because this is in the news a lot. This is not hockey related, but thoughts on the Redskins name stuff, and this could
Okay.
relate because the Blackhawks do have an Indian logo.
Yeah, the Blackhawks, it's a lot different because it's
Fucking
named after
time.
the Blackhawk
Yeah.
division and blah, 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 World War One.
Right.
Blah, blah,
Redskins, okay, yes, it's an offensive
blah,
name.
blah, 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 blah. Logo still.
Okay. Okay, whatever. That we can debate that later. I just want
What?
to say about the Redskins. The Redskins, yes, it's very racist, but I don't like the way that they're getting rid of the logo. It should be by financial pressures. People just saying, no, I'm not going to support this team. You know how social change is usually done. I don't like courts ruling for what seems like none other than political reasons to, that no, your like corporate trademarks aren't valid anymore. I think that's a gross infringement on the freedom of speech and a gross just abuse of power, frankly. And again, I think that it's an offensive name. I think it should be changed, but I think they're going about it completely the wrong way.
They should actually take the route the Cleveland Indians have been taking with Chief Wahoo, the slowly and quiet phase out with the use of the C block as the primary logo now.
Yeah.
It's really discreet, and it's worked perfectly to the point where it's not even a needed logo anymore. Everything's gone perfect.
And that was probably the most offensive, just logo-wise. Redskins is a more offensive name, but
It also doesn't. Oh, go ahead.
It looked like a 1930s like cartoon. One of those like offensive cartoons.
Have you ever seen the original
have
Chief
like
Wahoo?
really big lips and and it's just like ridiculously offensive.
Yeah,
Like just the image.
The original Chief Wahoo that came out, that was on the like jerseys in the 1940s, was even more offensive.
Well, I'm looking that one up.
Yeah, just look up original Chief Wahoo. And also with the Redskins, and this is probably more interesting. This has not to do with the name change, but I always found it.
That's horrible.
Isn't that terrible?
That's horrible. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Well, the other thing with the Redskins, and this is just a historical side note, the original owner of the Washington Redskins, when the team was founded, they were known as the Boston Braves because they were named after the baseball team, but then moved to Washington because of financial reasons. Changed the name to Redskins. But original owner, George Preston Marshall, was probably the most racist owner in American sports. Granted, of course, you have Donald Sterling and all this other stuff more shot in the 90s, but George Preston Marshall takes the cake because he did not, let's just say, if you were not white, you were not welcomed into the Washington Redskins locker room until basically the mid-1960s for the most part. Yeah, and the interesting thing is the first black players in the NFL came early as, even before integration in Major League Baseball took place. I forget the first player's name, but it came in like 1945-46 season with the Los Angeles Rams. But Marshall was very adamant and very against any social change.
See, and yeah, again, the thing I have with that is, the team's going to suffer as a result. Fans are not going to attend that game. You're isolating a large part of your potential fan base. You're isolating a large amount of free agents that you can choose from,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna screw you over in the end. And I think that's the best way to let this happen.
I mean, also like before this took place, you had the whole thing with the University of North Dakota as the Fighting Sioux and their logo, and also the way NCAA has gone about with Indian logos as well and Indian names.
Mhm.
Oh,
Of course.
speaking of college logos, this is just a random story. There's one of the major gangs in Chicago. Their symbol is a trident. Now, I work at the University of Chicago, where, it's south side of Chicago. It's kind of on a little island, where it's like the nice area of the south side. But if you stray too far off campus, you're in, the slums.
Yeah, it sounds like Temple in Philly.
And it happens to be those
Or
slums
Fordham
where the
in the
people
Bronx.
with the pitchfork, the gang with the pitchfork as a logo, are really hated. So, and there must have been, some graduate student that had just gotten there, that had just graduated ASU or something. But apparently, Arizona State's logo is a trident.
Yeah, they
I see
changed
this
it.
guy walking around campus wearing a trident, and I'm thinking, this guy's gonna get beat the fuck up if he steps off campus. So if you're coming to Chicago, don't wear tridents.
Yeah, Arizona State changed their primary logo from the cartoon caricature devil just to the trident. Like a year ago.
So tips to when visiting Chicago. Anyway, anyone else have an opinion on the Indian thing?
I don't
Straight
know.
up
I mean,
racist.
I guess it was a long time coming for the Redskins because, it is really offensive. And I agree. I don't like the way that they went about it. I think
Yeah.
they could have done it better.
I think in an
The
ideal
Cleveland Indians
situation,
analogy is a really good one, though.
Yeah.
I think an ideal situation would be the owners realized, oh, word, we've been racist for all these years. How terrible of us. We'll change this immediately. We apologize profusely. The end.
Except this owner is Dan Snyder, who doesn't listen to anyone but Dan Snyder.
Yeah. But, change is inevitable. It's going to happen. Just like the Blackhawks kind of did the same thing where it was, they got the mascot of the Blackhawks is Tommy Hawk, like a hawk. And I don't know. I think that also with the whole the Chicago logo that's not the Indian head but just the tomahawks, it's like I don't know if they're trying to go in that direction. I honestly don't think they need to, because I think that they can justify the logo they have as being, the logo of that unit
Black
in World
Hawk
War
Regiment.
One. Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't buy it.
I'm not a Native American, so and if I was, I might have a different opinion. So I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions about how offensive it is. I don't want to assume that it's not offensive because I'm not in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should do some reading on racism and stuff.
Well, I know.
Racist.
Well, I'm familiar with everything. I haven't really heard many complaints about the Blackhawks logo. I've heard complaints about the Indians logo. I've heard complaints about the Redskins logo. And being in the Chicago market, I'd feel like if there were complaints, I'd hear them. But I haven't heard any.
Yeah.
It's probably not as bad as the Redskins and other examples, obviously, because Redskins is admittedly a lot worse because it is referring, I believe it's referring to scalping of natives, but I think you look at the logo and it's fairly obvious that there's some appropriation going on. I'm gonna try and avoid getting into this because it is a very large can of worms to open, but the short version should probably change it
Yeah.
at some point.
See,
I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it probably will happen sooner or later. I don't know who's gonna start that discussion, but quite frankly, I think it's a discussion that should be had. Maybe not at the 48-minute mark of a podcast, but
okay.
yeah.
I guess we can
But,
continue this later because I don't know. I guess
This would be a very long discussion.
yeah.
Like if I wanted to properly talk about it, I'd have to like sit down and do some research and stuff about it, because this is one of those topics where you want to make sure you say it all right.
Yeah.
And because
So I guess we should probably move on to the next question or something.
Righto.
man, this just got serious too.
Yeah. I think that
we
was
should be serious.
that may have been the first serious discussion we've had on this podcast. Hashtag progress.
Hashtag not the Redskins.
Okay, so let's see. How do the last few coaching vacancies shake out? This is from at Peak of Good Living.
Honestly, I have zero idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea, and I'm terrified.
I mean,
I'm much
the
better at
climax
predicting
in
free
Pittsburgh.
agency than, and even that I'm kind of bad at it. But at least I can form rationales. I don't know what GMs are looking for, a specific GMs are looking for in a coach.
Yeah, and
Right.
I don't even know from Rutherford, so this is even more uncertain.
I would have never seen Tortorella going to Vancouver. I could have never imagined that.
Oh God, yeah, the Tortorella and just Elaine Vigneault just switching places. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazier to think that Vigneault went all the way to the Cup Finals and Tortorella got his ass fired. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. It's I've zero. My guesses would be equal to that of Chance when it comes to coaching picks for teams.
I don't know. I'm just hoping that the Leafs pick up at least one good former head coach for an assistant coach, just to be in line to replace Carlisle when he inevitably fails to change and ruins everything again, and I am a sobbing, weeping mess. I don't know why I keep looking up Leafs news, because I just keep getting more and more depressed every time I look it up.
That's how I feel about Cubs news. I've gotten to the point where multiple times a week, I have to go to on the Google image, not the Google image search, the Google news search. I will type in Samar to trade, and for the time period, I can click on past hour, and I'll still have read most of the stuff. It's it's the only thing that I want to hear about the Cubs. I don't want to hear about anything else because everything else is just too freaking depressing.
It's like watching the Pirates as of late. They've been so bad.
Yeah.
Like,
We've been doing pretty well actually, but we're about to trade away two of our best players. So
Yeah.
even though I support it 100%, we're about to do it.
Yeah.
It's completely necessary for the rebuild.
Yeah. Our hitting.
Give him to us, please. We'll be good to him.
You want some margin too? Oh wait, no, I forgot you're Yankees, not Mets. For
Yeah.
some reason, I thought you were Mets for a second. Yeah.
I mean, I watch the Mets every now and then because my mom's a Mets fan, but still.
Yeah, I
Um,
always assume you're a Mets fan because the Islanders and the Mets have the same colors.
it usually
Sanchez
goes.
has been struggling though.
It usually goes in New York. If you're a Mets fan, you're also a Jets and Islanders fan. And if you're a Yankees fan, you're also a Giants and Rangers fan. But I'm
That
a
makes sense, 'cause
Giants.
the
Yeah.
Yankees and the Giants and the Rangers are the more mainstream teams of
Also,
the.
they're the oldest too.
Yeah.
And because everyone who grew up on Long Island in the 60s and 70s followed the Mets and Jets because they were closer than going to Yankee Stadium
Yeah.
and the Yale Bowl. But I'm a Giants, Yankees, Islanders fan.
So you're just all kinds of fucked up.
Yeah, it's because my grandfather was a Giants fan.
At
Actually,
least you're Yankees though.
yeah.
Oh, and the Giants.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just hockey you don't.
Yeah.
Any reason why you're an Islanders fan over being a Rangers fan?
So, when the team came in 1972, my grandfather signed up for season tickets, and since then, that's how I became an Islanders fan. Although I never got a chance to have the season tickets, my grandma canceled them. But
Oh,
it passed,
wait.
yeah, because he died before I was born.
Aw.
Yeah,
Oh, that shit. Oh.
yeah. I still and I was upset that I never got a chance to. Anyway, she canceled the season tickets because she had no use to them. So my dad never really got to take me to season ticket games or 5 games, but he still took me to games. Anyway, so it passed down to him, then to my dad, and then it went to me, and it's been my main source of sports frustration for the last, basically my whole life.
Did Bear just take a shit?
No, he's stretched.
Oh, okay.
Yawned.
It looked like he was taking a shit.
No.
I don't know. Like,
No,
have you
the
ever
thing is
tried
this.
yawning and shitting at the same time? Like just like a yawn shit.
Oh god, you just see Spice just like throw herself to the ground.
Yeah.
So cute.
Anyway. Sorry for the distraction. Now, there was an important question that I was hoping we could get to. And that was, what?
No, I'm not pregnant. God, stop asking.
That's shocking.
I
Oh
guess
god.
we'll have to go
I
see
got
the
a little bit of
fertility
a
expert
belly.
again or something. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, no, I remember. Yeah, if you were on a Stanley Cup winning team and you had the opportunity to go on Jimmy Kimmel and drink out of the Stanley Cup, what alcoholic beverage would you? Actually, no. Look, forget Jimmy Kimmel. It's your day with the Stanley Cup, and one of the requirements is you have to drink a shit ton of alcohol out of it. What are you drinking out of it?
Caribou. Getting as crunk as possible. For those who don't know, Caribou is a mixture of pineapple juice, Malibu, and 151. And it is delicious.
151 is disgusting, though.
Yeah, but mixed with pineapple juice and Malibu is awesome. And you just get so fucked up. And we made Caribou for New Year's because we had a luau themed party. Like everyone was wearing Hawaiian shirts and leis and flip flops and shorts and skirts in the middle of winter in Pittsburgh, and it was freezing. But we took pictures outside, like, you know, prom style on the stairs, and it was just hilarious. And someone was
You
like,
guys also have
someone
like
walked
prom
by and
style
was like,
dancing
"What?"
with like awkward hands on shoulders dancing and like slow dancing and like wobbling around.
No. No, this wasn't your typical prom. It's a super fucked up. Oh god. I got so drunk. But yeah, Caribou would be great.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what
Yeah.
I decided on was pina coladas because one of my favorite vacations ever was with my older sister, and we would go to the beach at like 7 a.m. I was like 18 or 19 at the time, so I couldn't buy drinks. And she would just got like pina colada by the pitcher, and we just were getting like fucked up at 7 a.m. and we're just stayed fucked up all day. The greatest time ever. So I'd go with pina colada because it's a great summer drink, and drinking it in large quantities has been fun in the past. And I never really have it anymore. Like, usually I drink to, like, it's like, oh, I'll just do a bunch of vodka shots at home because they're cheap, and then take the L to the bars or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh, let's prepare drinks. I haven't done that since like 2 summers ago.
Seriously?
Yeah. I don't know.
I guess for me, by default, I would choose whiskey sour just because whiskey sour is the drink that I drink after I've had other drinks, and it's a drink that I have and continue to have after being drunk to nurse the drunk and continue riding the wave of drunk. And it's also pretty good. But I also slightly want to be a Toronto hipster and say I would have a Mill Street Organic out of it. Also, I feel like I wouldn't want to limit myself to just one type of drink out of it. Like well, fuck it, just have everything out of it. Not all at once, but like, like I can get some whiskey sour in there, and have some beer in there, and get some pina colada in there too.
See, I don't know if I could do beer out of the Stanley Cup. It just doesn't seem classy enough. I know there's like high-end beers, but
Pina coladas are classy.
I shouldn't say classy. I should say
classy would be like aged Don Perignon champagne.
Yeah.
All this dude bourbon straight out of the Stanley Cup.
Or like really, really aged single malt whiskey.
Gem Clear.
Yep.
We should all drink Smirnoff Ice out of the Stanley Cup. We'll just ice each other with the Stanley Cup.
We still haven't had our drunk
Get it?
episode
We'll ice
yet.
each other. Ha!
We need to do a drunk episode during the off season.
Yeah, well, it's the off season. Who
But
is
it's not
alcohol?
the
Who's ready to go?
yet.
I think I was slightly drunk for the last episode. I might have been. I can't remember.
I'm kind of fucked up on Xanax right now. Does that count?
I woke up yesterday at like 3 p.m. Immediately napped at like I think 6 for like 2 hours, and I've sort of been awake since then, since like 8 p.m. last night. Like I slept at I think like 5 to like 7:30 for like 2.5 hours, but I'm not running on enough sleep right now.
Yeah.
So if I'm a little bit messed up right now, there's that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not really fucked up. I've just like taken what I'm prescribed, so I'm being boring.
So we have
But next
Drew
episode we can get drunk.
and pina colada from Ben. What about you and what about you, Apad, and you, Ron?
I would go with like, cause the cup is actually a punch bowl. I would go with a giant bowl of rum punch.
Ooh.
Yeah, go with the simple one, but make it all nice and classy.
Yeah, not like Skippy.
Yeah, like
Skippy
from
is like
scratch
Tommy
rum punch. With the finest rum from like Barbados or some tropical Caribbean island.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would go with.
What about you, Ron? Would you put pizza in the cup?
I didn't think about that, and I didn't consider it because pizza's not a drink, but I would absolutely eat pizza out of the Stanley Cup. Also, I swear I just answered this question with the whiskey sour thing.
Oh yeah, sorry.
The only
Cool.
pizza that could fit in a Stanley Cup would be New York style. Just saying.
Yeah, because it's flaccid enough that it'll fit.
I got not this again. Love all pizza unconditionally, guys, unless it has mushrooms on it. Fuck mushrooms.
Wait, why don't you like mushrooms?
Because they don't belong on pizza.
Mushrooms belong on everything.
Yes!
No, they don't.
God,
Yes,
what's wrong
they
with you people?
do.
Mushrooms are nature's meat.
No, it's a fungus. It's a dirty fungus.
It's a delicious fungus.
Screw
Yes,
mushrooms.
Oh, mushrooms are the best. I don't think we could be friends, Ben.
He
And
just
they
doesn't
definitely don't belong
understand.
on pizza. Pizza's for meat and cheese, a lot of cheese and a thick crust, not your flaccid stuff.
You just said the
Mushrooms are
flaccid word. You know what topic's gonna come up next.
Bacon.
Bacon.
Guess who's
Well,
living
I
on
was
the
thinking
bacon?
Penises, but apparently not. I think we've already had the bacon discussion.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like we end up having it every week, regardless.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
listen,
much.
Last cast it went to hot dogs with like what is technically considered a flaccid hot dog.
We did?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Is it like when it's not cooked?
If you're having a good hot dog, well, actually, I guess hot dogs can be flaccid if they're well cooked, but like good like Polish sausages and like bratwurst, those when they're cooked are going to be hard, rigid, and erect.
Like, I'm pretty sure just by nature, a sausage is just too thick in girth to be flaccid. Like, there's too much of it to be flaccid.
It's like salami. You don't see like floppy salami.
Ah! Cut it thin, it gets floppy.
So, if you guys had a day with the Stanley Cup, what would you do with it? Like, where would you take it?
Huh.
This isn't something I've really thought about, seeing as I'm not remotely close to being an NHL player.
Knowing me, I'd probably have an existential crisis about, oh my gosh, I feel so unaccomplished. I've won this cup, but I feel like it doesn't mean anything. And then I'd be institutionalized, and I'd have the cup in the insane asylum with me.
No!
That's probably what would happen to me.
I would take it... I took some long, hard thoughts about this. And I would take it to the Animal Rescue League where I adopted Bear and Spice. I would take pictures individually of all the bunnies in the Stanley Cup so that people would be like, oh, damn, look at this bunny. This bunny's in the Stanley Cup. I want this bunny. And then all the bunnies get homes. Because bitches be lining up for my Stanley Cup bunnies.
Yeah.
Right.
Do bunnies have like leashes that you can like take them for walks?
You can.
Because
You
that'd be
give
like
them
the
a harness,
biggest
though.
that would be the biggest chick magnet.
There's a dude on Pig Campus that he has a therapy bunny, and he takes it for walks. It's like a huge, like, Flemish giant. He's like 8 pounds, and his name is Suitcase.
And how much has he gotten laid as a result?
He's always got biddies up on him.
Right?
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, damn, look at this bunny. It's a big, huge, gray, fluffy bunny, and his name is Suitcase.
I'm just going to go to the park, get a bunny, just sit there, just see what happens.
Like, I think bunnies are better than puppies because, like, everyone's like, oh, man, it's a puppy. But people are like, oh, my God, is that a bunny?
Yeah, it's like...
Because bunnies are novel.
With you. Yeah, everyone has a dog.
Who has bunnies? I have bunnies.
I also think a domesticated, like if you could domesticate, like a big, like a leopard or a tiger, and just make it, like, super friendly, I feel like that would be awesome, too.
Oh, there's that video on YouTube of that dude who, like,
Oh, the tiger cuddles up with him? Is that one?
No, the one, the lion that he got at Harrods, in England, and then he released it into the wild, and then came back a few years later, and the lion recognized him, ran up to him,
Oh
and gave him
yeah,
this
yeah,
huge
I
hug.
love that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
I love that.
time I saw that, I cried. I was just like, oh my god, this is the happiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Or get a panda if they weren't like endangered or some shit.
Dude, fucking pandas are so stupid. They would be extinct if it weren't for humans.
Maybe
Yeah, but-
we should just let the natural order of progression take place.
Like Darwinism. Seriously, stop
Like the
helping pandas.
dodos.
I think pandas are cute as fuck.
They're
They are
cute as
cute,
fuck,
but
but
they're
just
stupid.
like they're so stupid. Like their food
Right.
source doesn't sustain them. What?
Brett, I feel like you just got yourself blacklisted from China.
Well, they also don't like. Wait, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, like pandas. Like pandas also don't like organized genocides. So
until the panda revolt takes place in 2331.
I have like a mental image of like just a panda army just like going through Beijing, just like taking over all of China and like Mongolia and East Asia.
Taking
gonna
over
happen.
the world by power of cuddle.
And like you know those like behind a podium at like the UN like banging its fist on the podium.
See, the reason why pandas are actually stupid is because they don't want anyone to know about their secret plans. Deep underneath the bamboo forest of China is actually a secret panda lair where they have all panda weapons for their panda revolt in 2331.
Yeah, maybe like the pandas we experience are just the ones that were too stupid and they just like will let the humans see these as what our species is like. And they don't feel intimidated by us. But really the pandas are the geniuses.
I guess the movie Kung Fu Panda should be seen as a warning sign.
What if all pandas were voiced by Jack Black?
Dude, them pandas would become my second favorite animal.
I don't know, man. Jack Black doesn't. He has a good comedic voice, but I don't know if I would say he has an adorable voice.
No, they'd be awesome.
Like, can you imagine if you're like petting a panda and you're so like you're really comfy and like just leisurely petting it, and all of a sudden it goes, "Hey guys, you gotta go and form a band now. And a school of rock." what would you do if the panda said that?
I would laugh so
And
hard.
said
It
his name
would be
was
so
Matt
great.
Beasley.
I do like that movie.
Dude, School of Rock is like my best friend and I. We watch like 2 movies like all the fucking time. There's School of Rock and Mean Girls.
Yeah, I haven't like been able to sit through School of Rock. I've never watched the entire thing because I like can't take his acting seriously. You know?
You're supposed to.
You're doing,
I know,
you're
but it's
doing
not-
something wrong if you're trying to take Jack Black seriously. Like,
You're
No,
not
but
supposed
you should
to.
never take Jack Black seriously. Like,
There's
School of
there's
Rock is a
there's
comedy.
like,
Why would you ever try and take him seriously?
there's movies
Great.
like what's the movie with Will Ferrell and what's his face? Where they're like brothers, like they're like Step Brothers. Step Brothers is the movie. That movie is absurd enough that I don't need to. But like Schoolhouse Rock is trying to give itself a premise.
No, it's School of Rock. Schoolhouse
School-
Rock
School-
is conjunction.
Function.
I'm just gonna shut up right now. I'm,
See, like,
I'm
you
really
don't
fucking
take.
Also, you realize Jack Black is not in Step Brothers, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm saying Step Brothers. The premise of Step Brothers. The premise of they weren't trying to give it a premise. it was you walked in thinking this is gonna be absurd. Like the entire time you weren't like I don't even remember what the plot was. I don't remember. I just remember that they were like just stepbrothers. And they were like acting like they were 4 years old the entire time. I don't remember what the movie was about outside of that.
It was about
That's
the
what made it
Catalina wine
okay.
mixer.
I think the only movie that was really bad tried to give itself a premise, and it was able to do both things at once and still be a shitty movie that was hilarious. Was White Chicks, where it was like this premise is so unbelievable, but it's not quite. But they're trying to make it believable. And I don't know. I thought White Chicks was wonderfully done with it. Well, or wonderfully done considering how horrible the premise was.
I've never seen White Chicks, and
It's
I'm
a great movie.
Will.
It's pretty good.
It's
It's interesting.
interesting.
It's hilarious. I love it.
We're gonna all get together and go shopping.
I love the Vanessa Carlson or whatever her name is song
Hamilton.
where she's like, the scene where like they're in the car with the like basketball player.
Yeah.
Terry Crews.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I love this song!" And he starts singing along with it. I don't know. It was stupid.
Terry
as
Crews
fuck,
is a
but it was
football
well
player.
done considering how stupid it was.
Yo, guys, Terry Crews is apparently going to be the next host for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Wait, who?
What the hell?
That's interesting.
Who?
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
I've never heard of the person.
Who's Terry Crews?
The dude that you were just talking about in White Chicks.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah. He's also the dude in
What he's
some
gonna
of
be-
the old Spice commercials. Not Isaiah Mustafa, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
The more aggressively aggressive one.
The bulkier one. Yeah, I know him as the guy from White Chicks, and he was also the bouncer in Soul Plane.
The sergeant on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So yeah, that guy. I just don't know any of their like names as people.
Should we go back to answering more questions?
Oh, I didn't even know there were more, but yeah, let's go for it.
Okie dokie. This one is from at Soros Poussin. What do you think of the new Charlotte Hornet uniforms?
BRB Googling them.
What?
I need to Google them. Charlotte Hornet uniforms?
Yeah, I really like them a lot. They brought in that classic teal look, not without the pinstripes. This is one a modern feel
Dude,
to it.
these are sweet!
Yes, they're so sleek.
Oh my god, I love the purple!
I really like the teal.
Yeah. That's nice.
See, I guess I'm gonna be the one dissenter because it's not the New Orleans Hornets.
But it's better. It's back in Charlotte.
Or wait, wasn't there? No. Who was it before New Orleans?
Okay, so the first New Orleans basketball team was the New Orleans Jazz, moved to Utah, and became the Charlotte Hornets, who moved to New Orleans, who then moved to Oklahoma City, back to New Orleans after Katrina, and are now the Pelicans. And the Bobcats became the Charlotte Hornets for this upcoming season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
Whatever.
that's all the names got swapped around, except for Utah Jazz.
Whatever. Go back to the '90s when it was real basketball, because we were awesome.
Yeah, real talk. If you're asking me
Oh,
questions about basketball, then you are probably doing something wrong.
And question is, who are the Hornets going to draft, and why is it T.J. Warren? I hope T.J. Warren stays and goes to Charlotte because he was fantastic to watch at North Carolina State. Biased fully 100% as a North Carolina State fan. Anyway, but hopefully they can beat them, or it's have the 24th pick in the draft. Hopefully he falls back on that doesn't look like they're going to trade up. But Warren is going anywhere from the 13th pick to the 24th pick. They could get him.
What's Bear doing?
He's cleaning himself. He's like trying to lick his chin.
Oh, okay.
He's washing
Good
his
call.
face. I don't know why I haven't done this before.
Wait, are we still doing this cast if our Hockey Cast account just left the cast?
Yeah, we're still alive.
Wait,
Who's
what?
controlling you?
Ben
Andy just
Ethan
left.
left.
And
Whatever.
he's the one on the Our Hockey Cast account, which is controlling the cast.
Whatever. We'll keep going as if it's live. I think it's live. It says it's live.
It says it's
It's
live.
live.
I have no idea. We'll
But
keep
then-
going.
But then, who controls the Hockey Cast?
I don't know. Let's just keep going.
Ron, tweet from the account and ask if people can still hear us.
Well, of course it can. It's live. It's just probably. Oh. I don't know.
I don't know. That is weird. So yeah, I don't have much input on the
I'm gonna
basketball
blame.
talk because I don't watch basketball.
Yeah, I've been
Like-
doing a lot less of it. It's just hard to take the sport seriously. I used to, but it's just hard. Which is ironic because I'm watching the World Cup obsessively. And FIFA's the most corrupt organization ever.
So do we know what's going on with this thing?
I don't know. Are there any more questions we have to answer?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I am checking the Twitter right now. I don't believe I see any. Hang on. Let me wait for this very slow internet. Blake wants to know if we like milk.
Duh, milk is the best.
I love milk. I love cheese. I like all dairy products.
Yeah, dairy is pretty fantastic as a whole. I might go for a cup of milk when I'm done this podcast.
Yeah, I think I will too. Like, milk is great, ice cream's great,
Cheese.
yogurt's great,
Cheese, guys.
frozen yogurt's even better. I don't know.
Guys, what if we've been cut off from the internet to the rest of the world and it's just us three talking to ourselves and no one else can hear us?
That's probably how it is anyway.
Yeah, well,
Let's see, what else? What have we missed that we were going to cover? Oh, Chris Bryant hit his first AAA home run in his first game in AAA.
Nice.
Oh, and if anyone has not heard the song "Bubble Toes" by Jack Johnson, they need to look that up. It was my shit in like middle school. I don't know, like 6th grade.
It kicked me off.
Kicked you off of what?
It kicked me off of the. Whoa! Fuck! Why do I have two? I have two of my. Are there two of my bunnies showing up?
Yeah, there's 3 of you.
It kicked me off of the thing. Okay, now one dropped off.
Yeah, so I'd highly recommend everyone check out Jack Johnson's Bubble Toes. I think it came out in like '03, '02. I don't know. When was I in 6th grade?
We were in sixth